Hey, welcome to another great episode, a great day of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harding. Glad to be back with a new and exciting episode. I have a great returning guest back on. It's been a minute since we caught up, so I'm glad to be able to catch up with her once again, reconnect and all that, see what she's been up to. But before I bring her on, hit my music, let's get started. Let's get it. All right. Once again, happy Tuesday. It is January 13th. Hope everyone's enjoying their new year. We're in the middle of January, so the new year is just flying by. But happy New Year to everyone out there as well. Glad to be back on a new episode. My name is always your host, Courtney Hardin, the Real Deal podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple. You can follow it on YouTube, BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com. Also, BS3 Network Roku channel. Download the app there. You can find all of the previous episodes and the BS3 Network. Credible guests, incredible hosts and episodes there as well. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms at Get the Real Deal on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok. I'm on all those platforms as well. But I am very excited to catch up with my returning guest. Like I said, it's been a minute. I think the last show we did together was in 2024, so it was good to get her back. She said she's got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, so I'm excited to have her on. She is a sports journalist. She's done production, been in the media for a minute as well. I want to welcome back to the show Janae Ain Bradford. Welcome back. Really appreciate it.
Hey, and Janae.
Janae. Yes, Janae. I know that. Janae Ain Bradford. Sorry about that. Janae, yes. Janae Ain Bradford. Welcome back to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you for coming back on. Like I said, it's been a minute, but I don't forget the name at all. So that was my bad, my slip up on that. So, but how have you been, my friend? How's everything going with you?
Oh, everything is great. I'm blessed. New Year's treating me right. We just pick up where we left off on everything going on. I really have been good. It's been a good year for me. 2025 was a great year.
That's good. I'm glad, like I said, glad to have you on. Glad to get you back on and everything too. And like I said, it's been since 2024 since we last discussed a lot of different things. A lot has changed, I'm sure, over the year and everything too. But so let's get started. Like you said, how has your year been? 2025 leading into 2026. What's you been up to over this past year?
Yeah, I feel like the last time we talked, I was in Memphis, and I'm not in Memphis anymore. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, working for WTHR, Channel 13, the NBC station here in Indianapolis. And
that's good.
Wow, I think I started around May. Yep, I started in May 2025, and it's been fast paced, but I love it. This city is not dull whatsoever. We're in the capital of the state, so you get a little bit of everything from sports to politics to weather. I haven't been in the Midwest in a minute.
Yeah.
So they get a little bit of everything, but I love my team. I love everyone that I'm working with and the work that I do here. And I can definitely see growth in this journey. Like from Arizona was probably the first time we talked, and I was in school.
Yeah. Yep.
In Memphis, I started to create an identity for myself as a producer. That's what I'm still doing here in Indianapolis. And now I'm on their morning shift and their weekend shift. So I'm learning everything early in this business. So I don't take it for granted. I love it. So that's pretty much been my life for the past 9-ish months now.
Yeah, almost a year. Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like the episodes we have done together, as you said, you started in Arizona, now in Memphis, and now Indianapolis, Indiana. So it's like a lot of different markets, news markets, and sports for sure. So my first question would be, what's like been the differences in how you cover each and every time you've been in different states?
Ooh. Um, let's see. Well, Arizona, since I was in the sports journalism master's cohort, we were obviously sports heavy every single day.
Yeah.
And so I knew when I got the job for Memphis, sports was definitely going to get pulled back a little bit. But I knew if sports came up in the city of Memphis, which it will at times with Grizzlies and Tigers and everything and Ole Miss and all the things, anytime I had an opportunity to get my feet wet and do sports there, I took it. And when I got the offer for Indianapolis, I was like, oh, this is a sports town. I know it. There's no like sports could be the lead of my newscast. Like it's that big here. And that's literally our story right now with the national championship with IU. So
yeah.
That I would say that's been the biggest shift of like where my focus has been. I do appreciate having more of a news background now because I know that I can pretty much cover anything. So when sports comes into the newsroom, it's like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment since 2022. Like, so that's pretty much been the biggest difference. And with sports being so important here, no matter what team it is, we go big. When I was working the nights they won the Peach Bowl, and my whole Saturday show, all IU. That's the only thing people were talking about, only thing people cared about.
Yeah.
We did so many different elements that I was able to pull. And so the fact that I was able to pretty much have like 30 to 40 minutes worth of sports in a newscast, I was just like, yes.
That's a dream.
Like, I know I don't get that often, and I know that's not an everyday thing, but when I take advantage of those opportunities for sure. Right. So that would be the same story. I work on Sunday, the day before the national championship. So it might go big that day too. So
yeah, that's gonna be big, and we're gonna get into IU and the national championship. We'll get into all that, but we got a couple shout outs here in the comments. If you guys got any questions for me or Janae, let us know. We got Nathan Ramasandre said, "What's up, Courtney? What's up, Janae? Happy Tuesday." He said, keep up the great work. And he said he has a question. He said, "Your favorite moment in your career so far?" That's a good question.
I will be honest, that Peach Bowl was really big.
Yeah.
It was really big. And I also got to cover the Pacers going to the finals, and that whole playoff run was
right
bananas. But honestly, I have to go all the way back to Arizona. No, I'm just this young grad student. No, I'm the only producer in the cohort that knows sports, and we get the Diamondbacks in the World Series and Eagles and Chiefs in Glendale doing the Super Bowl. And doing that so young, I was like, what? Like, I just couldn't believe it. And at the same time, for that to be a student's experience I'll never forget that at all. So, I don't have a favorite yet. I definitely want to do more WNBA stuff. You know how I am with that, and I know we'll talk about that later. So
yes, we got a lot to
I did some big WNBA stuff. The Fever want to go all the way to the chip one year, and I'm still that's taking it.
Yes, and like you said, you're in a big sports state for sure, and so many things has happened just over the last couple of years. You talked about IU being in the national championship this year. The Pacers last year was Game 7 was right in Game 7, and if it wasn't for injuries and things like that, they could have won. Halliburton going down in Game 7. That was, I'm sure that experience was just covering it and being in the middle of that as well. So, and then you said the Indiana Fever getting to the conference championship, getting so close to getting to the finals in the WNBA. So it's been a, the Indy 500. You got so much different things
Mhm.
happening. That's the one of the biggest sporting
That's
events.
a given. That's
Yeah, right,
yeah,
right.
one of the
Yes, yes.
flag.
There it is. Yes, see. So for sure, shout it out. Yeah, so that's tremendous. And you're like I said, to be, as you said, to be a young journalist and to be a young producer, should say there and just in general, and just being able to see those stories unfold and those, those games unfold. I'm sure it's like it's a big thing, a huge thing
Oh,
for you in
I don't
for your career.
at all. This is insane. Like I sometimes like forget this is like a job sometimes, and I'm not in like
Mhm.
school anymore. Just like getting
Yeah,
blessed with these opportunities. No, we cover them and we go
yeah.
big and we own the coverage for the entire state and sometimes for the country, especially with the championship for football. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I want to go back to the production side of it. I know we talked about this before, and I love to hear the production. Like, what's your day to day like? As you said, sports can be the main story, the lead off for a newscast, and you cover all these things. And you said, okay, Indiana is in the national championship, so that could be it. But to get, like you said, to get time 30-40 minutes on a newscast and be able to produce that is I'm sure it's like tremendous. But what's your day to day night? I know that's like a question that probably changes for today and tomorrow, the next day. But like, what is like like a typical day to day, if there is a typical day to day for you?
Now, is this for a sports heavy show or just a regular?
It could go both ways. Either way, either one.
Okay. Well, since my mind is still living in Peach Bowl land,
Yeah.
yeah, the leading up to that, like we had a set schedule all week of who's going live for where, what, when, what content they'll leave. Working the morning shift. Our team usually just leaves the content that they shot overnight for us. Or if the story is that big, they might be live in our morning show. So we did a little mixture of that. So we had reporters in Atlanta. We had our sports team, of course, in Atlanta. We had fans in reporters covering fans in Bloomington. Same thing for Indianapolis. So they're leaving behind all this content. And so when it came for Saturday morning, when we're revealing the winner, like IU1, they're going, I had to make sure everyone's work got shown because a lot of it didn't because the game wasn't over yet during the 11 p.m. So,
Right. Yeah.
or one of the versions, I think one of the games ended super late. So I
Yeah.
had a lot of the content left to run in the morning starting at 6 a.m. So I just made sure everyone's content got used. I used it in different ways. It's like bump outs out of commercials. Like we did interviews with like Mark Cuban. We interviewed players that right out of the gate, still on the field. So yeah, just it's always like a puzzle. And when we build shows, like we have like these templates called rundowns, and on days like that, you can break it. Do your
Yeah.
thing, whatever flows and feels right. No, go for it. No, there is no set rule for how a show needs to be produced. Only thing we cared about is just hitting certain times, like being at a commercial at a certain time, or make sure we're coming back in at the 30 hour or whatever. So yeah, it's just seeing all the content we have available, seeing how I can use it and organize it there. And that's pretty much the same with a non-sports heavy day. We see what was done the night before. We monitor overnight news. We're always looking ahead to what's happening that day or that week. And we always make sure to not date the story. Make sure like you freshen it up, make it sound like this is new this morning or this is developing. We're working to learn more information about A, B, C, and D. Always have to make it active and present tense. And yeah, like, we're always looking for stories on national platforms, what our local stations are doing, what our competition's doing, it's all just about organizing, proper planning, and, making sure you get a little bit of everything in each show and you do it your way.
Yeah, I like that. And so my next question would be during all of this, when you're saying you're putting it together, putting the stories and the packages together, whether it's at sports or on a news side, when you're doing that, in your opinion, what makes like a successful day of a program, or like when you're doing the news or doing the sports for you, what makes a successful day?
A successful day. course, you always want to put a clean show on air. No
Yeah.
mistakes, whether that's on my end, director's ends, anchor's ends, reporter's end, doesn't matter. No editors. No, if all of us come together and execute the vision I drew out and it's executed correctly by directors and everyone else, then that's a beautiful ending. Of course, every day doesn't start pretty, but honestly, if the show looks good, that is a good day. Like, it might feel hectic in the newsroom if something's going on, but if a show looks good for the viewer and the viewer can't tell if anything happened wrong, then I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
as far as like content, no, like I said, a little bit of everything. Like, you're gonna have shootings in any major city, so that's a given. No, people want to know what happened overnight, whether it's good or bad. No, they want to know. So make sure you get that in. If there's anything that's impacting them, like are any lawmakers meeting today to discuss something that can impact your taxpayer money or something that can impact your kids' education, like people want to know like what's going on at the State House, even though it might sound not as upbeat and like boring. I don't even want to say that word, but like at 6 a.m., you still want to be able to inform people without like ruining their mood for the day. Like you kind of have to monitor that a lot, but also not ignore what's going on. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting because I know, like as you know, like the news can be very heavy, and we said with shootings or robberies and things like that, and sometimes those first 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes is like back to back to back, so that probably sure turn people off. But as you said, you're there as the producer to say, I have to produce this show, and we gotta have it's gotta be informative. We gotta put the the news out so it could be a productive newscast. And even for sports too, there's some things that happens in sports where I know a major injury to a player or coaching gets fired or something. We have to tell that because it's informative, it's news and everything too. So it makes you wonder like how pick and choose and success. I'm sure there's so much news that you want to tell, but you're not able to in a time span, a half hour, an hour, whatever it is. Usually a newscast is usually half an hour, but there's different times: 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock, prime time, things like that. Some news, like here in Philly, there's news at 11, there's news at 12, there's news at 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 11 is like, so it's a busy day, but there's I'm sure there's certain news that there's some left on the cutting room floor. Sure.
No, I'm so glad you brought that up because there are days where it's like, oh my God, all these stories are so important. I can't fit them in my hour. Yeah. And so that's where me and my other producers, communicate and be like, hey, let's say I'm doing the 4 a.m. show. Hey, I can't get this story in. Are you able to run it in your 5 a.m. hour? Are you able to run it in your 6 a.m. hour? Are you able to put it on our stream that's on our like the TV app that people can download, WTHR Plus? And so we make sure we divide and conquer. Like a lot of the national stories, every show could have a different national block per se.
Right.
Some of the local crime stories might get repeated in every show, but we all like talk amongst each other, be like, hey, like, no, are you running this again? We probably don't need to run that twice. Let's just run it in your show and create the puzzles for each other. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's not hey, you didn't think this story was important. It was, no, sometimes it's like, all due respect, like every story we're talking about is on our website. So if you think we missed something, like check our website. We might have it up there, but there's only so much we can fit in shows some days.
That's and I know that you brought it to that. I thought it was very very important and interesting is that you said you got to go as a cohesive unit, as you said, what makes a successful newscast or in a producer's eyes, and it's like said everyone's on same page. You're working as a team, as you said, with your anchors, your reporters, your for the producers, everybody that's there. You're working together to make a successful newscast. I thought that was very important. You said teamwork is very important,
especially on the weekends because there's less people working on the weekends. So it's like no managers in the building, but they're always on call. But you pretty much got one of everything versus on weekdays, you might have 2, 3, 4 of everything. So
Yeah.
you do what you can with your team, and to just lift each other up and understand that the pressures everyone has, because no one has an easy job at all. No one.
Yeah, very true. Another question here. Hey, we're loving the questions here. He says, "What advice would you give someone who is covering a tough story?" Kind of touched on that, trying to keep their composure. As you said, there's pressure there, but yeah, what advice would you give someone that wants to cover these tough, deep stories?
Oh man, definitely have learned those lessons in the past
Yeah.
3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Um, you you take that moment first with yourself and quickly get those emotions out. Like,
Mm,
whether you got to vent to yourself, vent to your buddy, maybe, and get it out verbally. Of course, not in the script. Yeah,
yeah.
processes are really fast. You're like, whew, this is hard to write, but it's not about me. It's about letting people know what is going on. And once you start writing, as far as with the mindset of like, what is the most important information everyone needs to know? And how many sides of the story are there? And how do I say all of them?
Mm,
Whether that's with your writing, whether that's with an interview clip or a press conference clip of them saying the other side. Because you could write a story and be like, I disagree with everything this is, but that's not our job to say.
right.
But you're supposed to make sure once you like start actually digging and finding the other side, then you start feeling like, okay, it doesn't feel as subjective anymore. I've told the complete story. My emotions
Mhm.
are out of it. And anyone that probably has heard this story for the first time should be able to listen to mine, read mine, and understand it off that.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Just bringing the heat with that one. That's good advice though, for real. No, that's really good. As you said, because yeah, there's so much high pressure situations. I'm sure that you've seen and been in with that. But again, you said as a producer, working with a lot of uh, different people in the newsrooms and even people that ask for advice. I want to get into that. Uh, with in journalism and news production. I think that's really good advice there. So I hope that answered the question on that. So all right, let's get into some. I love this insider stuff. That's why I love when we got to talk. We talked about
Yeah.
these things. We talked about these things before. So I think it's good, especially when anybody wants to get into journalism or wants to work in a newsroom and things like that. I thought you were one of the better people to ask that. So,
Yeah.
but let's get into as you said, let's talk about Indiana. IU and their title run, man, they're looking really good. Ooh, they're looking
Super.
very, very almost unstoppable in a way. How has the city's been and everything too on this run with Indiana? And now they got to play Miami in the national championship. From your eyes, what have you seen the atmosphere of there and being able to said to cover that? And when cities are when sports towns are really they're winning and things like that. The atmosphere is great. So how has that been for you as a fan, or being there and working it as well? But even as a fan, just seeing the city where what it's when it's been like.
It is a beautiful thing. And
Hmm.
I'm glad that I'm on the outside looking in still, because no, I never was not from Indiana, never watched
Right, right.
football. So I didn't know how bad it was before Kurt
Yeah.
Signetti came here and changed everything.
Yes.
So when we find, like, when we're talking to fans whose parents played in the Rose Bowl before this year, and they've had this family history of just how long they've been waiting for this. They go to games all the times. Like, I love those stories a lot.
Hmm.
And I think that's something I cherish as well. Is like, hey, no, sports isn't always just here are the highlights and here are the best plays of the day. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of personal connections to this. And that's honestly one of my favorite things about this matchup. No, we have IU has a lot of players that used to play in Miami or for
Yeah.
Miami. And
Yeah.
then our Heisman quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, was born and raised and has a strong bloodline in Miami. So while Miami is playing at home, a lot of IU people are coming back home too. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing to see those like human interest stories.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, from like the sports analytics part, just seeing how bad it was. I like people like if you don't know, IU before this run had the most losses for a college football program ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Ever. And
Ever.
who knows
Yep.
how long the university's been open. I'm not that knowledgeable, but just you just think about like, wow, like ever? And now they're in the national championship.
Yeah. What a turnaround.
What
Huge
careers
turnaround.
can do. And I definitely wish the team the best. It's been great covering them. No matter what happens next week, this is definitely going to be a historical season,
Yeah.
historical year for Indiana sports 2025. And I'm honestly just glad to be a part of it and share those stories.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You said the human element, the human storylines of the element of that. I think that's a big storyline heading into this game. Is you said players from Indiana, are in from the Miami area, have Miami roots, and now they're heading back to Miami to play against the Hurricanes. And I mean, even on their side too, the U hasn't been relevant in years, and how they got in too. It was like there was questions like should they even deserve to be in, the college football playoffs and things like that. And now look, they took advantage of that and say, hey, yes,
Yeah.
we're here. That story in itself, and like I said, against a college program, Indiana, that's mostly known for basketball. The
Mhm.
history of that's a basketball. That's the rich history of basketball. It
Yes.
wasn't even known as a college football powerhouse, and now they're on the verge of winning a national championship in itself. And he said Miami from many years has a history of winning national championships
Mhm.
and everything too, but it's been a long time since they've been in a national championship, and being relevant. And now you have these two schools going against each other. That's itself, I think, is a tremendous storyline.
Oh yeah, and Kirk Cincinnati's not going anywhere.
Mm-mm. Right,
For a
right.
while, yeah, he's paid.
Yeah, yeah, yes, pay, yes, for sure. Yes, yes. So I'm looking forward to it. I've enjoyed this. Um, this college football playoffs because of the schools that have been, there's no Georgia, there's no Alabama, no Ohio State. They've been eliminated and everything too. So now you got two schools going
Crazy.
against each other that there's, Miami's a pretty, but like I said, they haven't been relevant in the
Yeah.
years, everything. And then they said Indiana basketball. That's a basketball
Eat.
college mostly. So university usually known for
Mhm.
basketball. So yeah, I love that storyline in it as well. So all right, let's transition into as you talk about the Indiana Fever, WNBA. A lot of
Mhm.
things is happening with that. With this collective bargaining and everything too. First and foremost, what's your thoughts on how this is being handled now? Do you think will there be a strike? Are we gonna get a season? Like what's your take on all of that with all the negotiating and the players and everything is happening? What's your take on everything that's been going on with the negotiations of getting a collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA?
I think I love how recently in sports that none of us could have predicted any storyline written for any of these pro team seasons, let alone the NFL, NBA. No one could have predicted what's going on right now with anybody right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
for the women, oh, I don't want to strike. I don't want no these women's money getting put on hold and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these things. And no, I want to go to All Star Weekend. That's my birthday weekend, so I'm like, oh, please don't mess up. But no,
Yes.
in all seriousness, we've seen these women be vocal for
Mm,
years.
yeah.
Not even just this last All Star break when they wore the shirt saying, no, pay the players or pay us what you owe us. They've been saying that for
Many
years,
years. Yeah.
out
Mm,
cameras on them all the time. And if you've learned anything, these women aren't going to stop till they get what they deserve.
mhm.
It's not even just what they want to be greedy. Like, if we've seen WNBA's revenue numbers skyrocket, but their revenue is, I mean, their salaries are not.
Yeah. Right.
And when you see other leagues make more money, their players get paid more money, or they open up the salary cap so they can bring in more players. So the league is taking the babyish steps. Like, no, I'm glad we're getting new teams. The league is expanding, so that means more roster spots.
Yep.
But like, if the benefits aren't there that other players get, and they didn't even put their dues into the league, then like, no, the women aren't going to stop until they get at least a fraction. Like, we know they're not going to get paid LeBron's salary and Steph's salary. Like, let's just throw that out the window. They're not asking for $200 million salaries. They're not doing that. They want more percent of what the league is generating in the revenue. That simple. It's simple. Like, I don't know the exact number, but it is not even close to half.
No, not
Not
even
even
close.
I don't even know if it's close to a quarter. So, it's that tight. So I can't say I sense a strike. Like, no, we already know. Like, the latest move right now is that free agency is like being halted right now, or talks to get
Yeah.
into the free agency are going to be halted. And no, that's going to be a big thing, especially for Fever fans, considering how many players we had to sign for that were injured. So we don't know who's sticking around. We don't know how we're gonna fill our roster back up. We know a lot of ladies are rehabbing and recovering and should be back, but no, we still. If we were able to make it a game away from the finals, then okay. When we got something to work with, and we need to just fill in a couple gaps, and title could be theirs because the season, every season's open at this point. I can't even go into any pro sports season and be like, yep, they're going to the chip again. No, I think this is their year. I don't know.
Don't know. Right. Yes. And I agree with you. I think this negotiations has been dragged out. And both sides are trying to kind of push and pull with each other on this. And I haven't read, I mean, I've seen a lot of these, negotiations when it, as a fan, just watching it, and we've seen league strike, and it's never good at all when leagues do strike. And I don't I don't think the W is going to go to a strike, but they still got a little bit of time, but it's getting into now mid-January, where you said free agency was happening. You got these new teams coming in. Usually they got to have their the expansion drafts. So things are going to be pushed back. Scheduling is going to be pushed back and things like that because of negotiation. There's no extension. They stopped the extending the deadlines now and everything. So yeah, the women definitely deserve to be paid. And I've been beating that drum for a while too. So they definitely deserve to be paid. They want parts. They want more of the revenue. They want more of that piece, and they deserve that too, and everything. So the league is. They're just. It doesn't look good at all, because it just seems like they're just not agreeing on the CBA as well. So I hope that they're able to come to an agreement sooner rather than later, and we can get, like I said, we can get this rolling, and now being able to have a schedule, because like I said, they've got these new teams coming in. You need they gotta have they gotta have rosters, they gotta have spots and things like who's being protected from the with teams, like what players are being protected. There's so much free agency. There's gonna be so many moving parts. I guarantee you one thing. Once it does get agreed upon, the CBA, it's gonna be like a free for all. It's gonna be who's gonna go where and everything too. So that's gonna be like a real mad dash of things too. So, and Caesar Collier said people are seeing that changes need to be made. They do, they definitely do. So yeah, it's a lot. I've learned so much about the collective bargaining so much. I'm so, and I'm sure the players are so tired of talking about it. So let's get agreement done. Let's move forward and get these players paid.
Oh yeah, and this league is only growing, and
it's only growing. Yeah.
My favorite part about women's basketball is the tight knit pipeline between college and pro level.
Yes, absolutely.
Like we've been following these girls since almost high school to some degree, or their freshman years of college. So as big as their names are getting, we're about to get the Flages and the Azies and the Sarahs and the Jujus, and everyone after that and the Hannahs. Like,
Yeah.
you think these women that are making hundreds of thousands, probably millions already, aren't going to be just as vocal too about things they want to see, things that like they're being treated better in college than the pros?
Yeah.
They're going to say something. So
Yeah.
get ready, buckle up.
Yeah, then you add in the NIL, and you have that on top of, and you got other leagues like Unrivaled, the upcoming
Mm-hmm.
Project B. So these
Yes.
women, they're trying, they just want to they're getting paid. And as you said, with the league over the last couple of years, these women have been fighting for this for a long time, and the WNBA they weren't ready. They should have been ready when they saw the trajectory when Caitlin Clark came in, when Angel Reese came in, that draft class came in and really boosted the viewership and everything. And then now you got the Paige Beckers, and as you said, you have the Juju's getting ready to come in, and things like that. The Flash John, you got these players there. So the league should have been ready, and now here we are in the CBA. They should have been negotiating this beyond and able to they should have saw the trajectory, and it's going to just continue to keep building and building and growing and
Mm-hmm.
growing. And now because you got the new TV deal that's going to be kicking in
Yes.
this year as well, so that's been negotiated, and now it's just paying the players.
That's it.
That's
That's true.
it.
I know
That's
it's
it.
not that easy, but I mean,
Right.
come on, just
But it should be. It can be.
yes.
Right. It can be. And maybe, like I said, maybe it should be as well. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know we're gonna keep our eyes open on that, and we'll look forward to see what happens with that. So, but I want to get just a couple more before I let you go. Like I said, it's been good catching up with
Of
you
course, I love
and
it.
everything. Yeah, we can talk this for hours, but I know we got things to do later on. I'm sure like work and all that too. So we gotta. But we talk about journalism and we had this past Sunday. It was Sunday. Jacksonville Jaguars coach, and journalism and things like that. There's been a lot of talk about this, and we had a reporter in Jacksonville who asked was at the presser and was giving the coach that just with Jacksonville Jaguars eliminated from the playoffs was just giving them encouragement, and just saying, hey, you had a great season, and just in some words of encouragement and stuff like that. Oh, how had that been a story for the last 2 days of supposedly of this journalist being a fan, not asking a question and all this and this. What's your take on this as someone in journalism and graduated from journalism and everything? What's your take on that whole story?
As somebody that has been in those post game
Yep.
rooms,
Mm-hmm.
If you go enough, you see the people that have been going to those post games for years. To the
Yes.
point where coaches and players know them by name.
Yes.
They got an assigned seat maybe or a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
undisclosed one or something, but like reporters build a rapport with the teams and organizations that they cover all the time. And I believe that woman, she said she worked in her role for like 20 years.
Yeah,
So
25 years. Yeah.
she's seen the beginning of this like franchise, and who knows when the last time they were relevant. So for them to get to this point and be this close to making it to the next step, pretty sure the coach knew who she was. Like, she wasn't a random to him.
Right.
Never talked to him for multiple years. And it's the end of the season for them. It's not like this is after game one. Did she say, like, I love you guys so much, you're my favorite team in the world? She pretty much just said something that a real person would have said with a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's gonna write that in her story. She was just being a human for a second, which is okay. Like, when I'm almost certain when some reporters go out and they cover these shootings and stuff, and they have to talk to the family that just lost a family member, like, they have to empathize with them for a second.
Yeah.
They might not do it on camera and it's being broadcast, but they make sure they build some kind of trust between their subject.
Mm-hmm.
So if comes a case where they need to talk to them again, they have a great relationship and they keep it just like that. She did not cross a line. And I think, like you mentioned, like sports is a cruel world, and in football, coaches get fired immediately.
Immediately after 1 year. Sometimes just during the season. Right.
You
Right.
can and as a Chicagoan, I know what it's like to have someone that had a winning record and then get fired.
Yep.
So
Yep. Me too.
I think
Me
it's
too.
just I think it just comes a time where no, that was the perfect time and place. Like it's not like she did that after every post game. I don't think everyone even saw the whole press conference. She probably did ask great questions and then save that last comment for the very end of the press conference when they're about to leave. So
Yeah.
guys, we have a lot more things to talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot more, and
Uh,
yeah, right, so much.
to live. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a time and place, but she picked the right time and place.
I 100% agree with you on that. I had no problem with it at all, and I understand. Um, some journalists are saying, and the thing is that gets to me. It was 19 seconds. It was 19 seconds where she encouraged coach, and I'm gonna give her Lynn Jones. I'm gonna give her a proper Lynn Jones of Jacksonville Free Press, um, and her comments, and were people are getting bent out of shape and saying, well, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't that should have been a one-on-one or anything like that. How did she get a credential? I'm glad she's been on a lot of different platforms talking
Mm-hmm.
about I've got 25 years plus years. I'm not a nobody. I've been working hard at this. Coach called on me and I got the thing. They were like, oh my goodness, why was she asked a question? How about this? We're tired of all the toxic things that people talk about when it comes to it's sports. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be light and everything too. It's not that serious. This guy just lost in a football game, an important football game, and he's down. He doesn't want to maybe answer questions about the X's and O's, what happened, and things like that. Maybe he doesn't want to answer those same questions over. It was good to have something refreshing on that. And I was so glad and I'm glad she's standing on business about it too and say, I would do it
Mm-hmm.
again. I got my opportunity. As you said, it was the right time and everything too. Something that is not the post game setting. Who's to say what is a post game setting? What's the right question? What's not the right question? She wasn't being a fan. She was actually being a journalist that was just giving credit and giving something a human element of it. At the end of the day, we're all human. And she just said, you did a good job. I'm wishing you the best. And that was it. It was 19 seconds. It wasn't, like I said, we got bigger things to talk about when it comes to the important stuff to talk about. So, yeah.
Exactly. I know we can all think of a time where one of our favorite announcers or anchors was doing a post game interview in sports and gave a compliment to the player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, in the current climate that we're living in, with all these things that are happening, a way more drastic and important things. Just like, come on, it's like we need. And I think that some of these people are on their high horse, need to get over themselves when it comes to this and everything too. So yeah, I just saw a tweet that someone said she had an uptick in subscription. Yeah, because people are
Good.
really now following. I'm glad. I hope she gets more of that too. I mean, keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
That's from me and Janae, keep doing your thing, Lynn Jones.
Yes.
We're fans, and we're so glad you were able to show a human side, a human element when it comes to this. As you said, these coaches don't want to answer questions about what happened. It's an emotional game and things like that. They know, yeah, they're sad and they're frustrated and everything, and then you got reporters are out there asking these questions, microphones in their face, asking some of these questions like, what happened? It's like, it's good to have some different stuff going on. So
Exactly.
I'm with you on that. So, yep. So enough of that. But last question I would ask you before I let you go, what is next? What's some of the plans that Janae has coming into 2026?
Ooh.
Even in the short term.
Lots of self care. I think once I started this job 9 months ago, I was just really honed in on all right, get settled, let the station know who you are, make a presence known, do your thing. And now that I think I've gotten that done, Now I can like sit back, figure out what I want to do with life outside of the job, whether that's with bowling. I still bowl, by the way.
Yeah, yes, I got to ask you. Yeah, before we'll get into the bowling thing too. Yes, got to get into bowling for
So I'm
sure.
getting back into that.
Okay.
But with the job, no, I just want to just continue pushing and elevating our sports coverage at WTHR Channel 13 here in Indianapolis. Our digital space is expanding everywhere. People are streaming things, so hopefully down the line I can create some content for our platform there. So that's like the big like job goal, but like as far as personal goals, just taking care of myself, doing things that make me happy, saving money,
Yes.
and being more appreciative of all the things I have around me. Every time we talk, I'm in a different city. I wonder if that's going to be the case next time.
We wait another
I'm
year
gonna
or
be here
two.
for a bit, but
Yes.
I'm grateful for all of that and just being like, no, how can I just seize every moment that I have here and continue to be grateful for the man that made it possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, and I love seeing you keep winning. Love seeing you keep doing your thing. So much success, many blessings to you and your journey. And I just love watching it from the outside and what you got going on. So it
Thanks.
was I was so uh, appreciative of you wanting to continue to keep being back on the show. And as you said, I reached out and you were like, absolutely. I got a lot to talk about. So it's been a minute. So I'm going to end up, I want to talk and get it out there. So, but I'm appreciative of the friendship we developed and the connection we developed as well. But like I said, just more continued success and everything too. But before I let you go, the last one about the bowling. As you don't know, Janae is a bowler, does her thing with it and everything too. So you just say getting back into it and everything too. So I'm glad that you're. So talk a little bit about that, like getting back into it. What got you back into getting back into bowling?
I needed something else to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Anytime people ask me, what do you do in your free time? And I'm like, ooh, it still sounds like work because I'm watching like documentaries and podcasts.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm like, no, like what filled you? Like what filled your cup up when you were drained from work? Bowling.
Oh,
So I found a league here.
okay.
I'm doing good. I just had it league last night. No, it was a rough 2 games, but the last game, 245.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm coming back, guys.
Yeah.
It's scary, but
Yeah.
I love it. It just takes my mind off of literally everything
Mhm.
because you can't be worried about what was going on behind you when you're
Yep.
bowling. Like, nope, you got to be laser focused.
Laser focus, yeah, and you
That's
need
what we're
something
doing.
like that. You need something like that too, as you said, just because of the things you cover. You said news and sports, and again, it's something with this whole thing with it says that was not that serious. It was, but you said you need something to clear your mind, and you said I know how much bowling you've done, and championships and all that. So it's
Yeah,
good. I'm sure you're back
10
into it.
years.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. So 245 is really really good as well. So it's coming. Hey, like you said, you're building it back up, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure you're gonna get back into those steps and like, okay, I'm here. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Rooting for
again,
300 by the end of the year. That's the
yeah,
goal. I'm saying.
okay, it's coming. Like 245 is close. It's
Oh, yeah.
close.
I've
So
been close. I've had some 270s,
mhm,
280s,
yeah.
250s in the past like 3 months. So
Okay. So
I'm
yeah,
coming for it.
the game is rounding in shape, as they say. So
Yes.
yeah. So that's good. But Janae, it is a pleasure having you on always. Hopefully it won't take this long again. We'll chop it up again. You're going to be in the same city. I
Yes.
am
Yes.
calling that as
I
well.
will. I will. I love
And,
it here. I do.
but I'm glad, like I said, glad to have you back on. I really appreciate you. And again, thank you again for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Good to be
All right.
here. Hope to see
Yes.
you soon.
Yes. See you soon. Enjoy, he said the national championship, covering that and other things like, the fever. They will hopefully have a season, and we'll be chatting soon. We'll chat
Yes.
again for sure.
Thank you so much.
All
Enjoy
right.
it.
Thank you. Yep. Enjoy. You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thanks.